Hey everybody, and welcome to a brand new installment of Nintendo News Report for Thursday, February 19th, 2015. I am your host, Alexander Kalafi, and joining me to talk about Nintendo news, new releases, and more, Connectivity Podcast editor Scott Thompson.
Hello, everybody.
And a very special guest this week, while Neil is on his well-earned sabbatical, Michael T.Y.P. Cole from Radio Trivia. How are you doing?
Hi, everyone. How's it going?
So I'm sure because his show's been around for many more years than mine has, that you've probably heard Radio Trivia before, and you know Mike from it. It's on once a month. You should listen to it. It's real excellent. Now,
Thank you.
You're welcome, Mike. This week's top story is that Nintendo had a new investors meeting. Originally, it was supposed to be like a week or two ago, but Iwata got sick or something, and then it ended up getting put off, and then it happened on February 17th, I think. It happened in the last day or two. And these meetings are generally where Iwata talks about how the sales are going. He gives an updated list on what's coming out and when, and usually there's a couple of new things revealed. Like, I think the DS games on Wii U, whenever that's happening, that got announced for the first time there. The Nintendo Sleep thing, their third pillar of health, the quality of life, that thing got announced during one of these things. Fifth pillar. And now it's that they got another special announcement. But we'll go over everything that they talk about, or at least all the big stuff. It shouldn't be too crazy. Most of it was sales, a lot of Amiibo talk, but let's just get into it. The total 3DS sales, life to date worldwide, has reached 50.41 million units in almost 4 years, which sounds like a lot, but the DS life to date as of September 2014, aka 10 years, so different scale, but you can still see how much of a titan DS was, 154 million units.
Oh, yeah.
So it's even though 50.41 million units is a really delightful thing to see based on how the 3DS was doing when it originally came out, it still has a way to go, especially considering a lot of people think the 3DS is already in the second half of its life.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was interesting, yeah. They also talked about local play, which I thought was really cool because I have this quote that says they were planning to further promote multiplayer local play in order to further accelerate the expansion of Nintendo 3DS in overseas markets during the popularization process. Or were we going to say?
Yeah, to me that's really weird because it's so Nintendo to say we're going to focus on local multiplayer in international markets instead of saying, you know what, we need to work on our online presentation because that seems to be hurting us internationally. I get they're trying to create new markets and broaden people's horizons, but they've been doing local play for a long time. This isn't really anything new. So I don't really understand why he's saying that. To me, it's like a bunch of nothing, and it's not Nintendo acknowledging where they're weak. So I'm actually a little disappointed that he tried to make that a bullet point because it's almost like a negative.
Yeah, especially saying overseas markets. Like I could almost see that being the push. And in this story, it mentions how like Pokemon and Monster Hunter popularized local play in Japan. See, I think it works better in Japan. But yeah, here, like when I hear overseas, I assume that's referencing North America,
Yes,
where local play is
in Europe.
certainly. Yeah, Europe too, which I don't know the scope of Europe right now. I don't know. I assume it's closer to like the market here in the U.S. than it is to Japan. So I imagine online play is just as important there. So yeah, this doesn't really inspire hope to me. I mean, I like playing games with my family now, but for the most part, I play online now. So
here's the thing about that is that was actually the first part of a quote which had a way more interesting second half, which was during the popularization process of handheld gaming systems in Japan, multiplayer local play has contributed greatly to Pokemon, Monster Hunter, and Yokai Watch franchises. And I thought it was super interesting that in the same slide they talked about overseas expansion and making local play a big deal. They said, hey, local play, we want to make that a really big deal in America. Here's some of the things that worked, including this super popular game that hasn't come out in North America yet. Which I don't know if it's an intentional direct tease, but it seems like there were already plans in the cards for Yokai Watch to come overseas. Like it feels like they were talking about it as if it wasn't inevitable. And that's really exciting to me because usually things that are super popular in Japan, I ultimately end up enjoying.
Well, they did that with Monster Hunter 2, where they kept they kind of displayed a Nintendo product alongside a Monster Hunter product. I'm trying to think of which one that was, but there were a couple places where they kind of put a first party and third party title kind of juxtapose them next to each other for comparison's sake, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's I hope Yokai Watch comes out. It's Wii U's doing better, but we already knew that. Something interesting related to sales, and speaking of Monster Hunter, Majora's Mask 3D and Monster Hunter 4U's initial sales are very promising. And they'd only been out for 3 days here as of the time this was presented, but they compared the first 3 days of release for Link Between Worlds and Monster Hunter 3U to the sales of Majora's Mask 3D and Monster Hunter 4U. And Majora's Mask 3D did about 1.5 to 2 times better than Link Between Worlds in its first 3 days. And Monster Hunter 4U over tripled Monster Hunter 3U on 3DS when it came out. And I don't think Monster Hunter 4U is going to become what it is in Japan right now, but I hope this is like a Fire Emblem Awakening situation where all these people pick up this really Japanese series for the first time, and a lot of people go, oh wait, this really is for me, even though I didn't think it was originally.
Yeah, I think you could be onto something there, because to me the big pull for Fire Emblem, at least for a lot of people, was the fact that it was the most successful entry in the series, and you could turn off permadeath, and it was much more inviting to newcomers. And all I've heard about Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate is that it's so much more like streamlined and easy for new players to get into. Like, I think Neil had that editorial about how this is the Monster Hunter to get into. It's very welcoming to new players. So yeah, I think there could be something to that.
Yeah. And moving on to Amiibos, 5.7 million Amiibo units shipped worldwide, 63% of which were sold in the United States, which speaks to...
And 63% of which were Link, 25% of which were Yoshi, and then like 0.2% were, I don't know, the Wii Fit trainer.
You know what's funny? Usually the units shipped is a slippery weasel word or weasel term, but I think in this case we can say with pretty good confidence that most of those units shipped actually have been sold, because people are going crazy for these things.
Yeah, I'll go to stores. And not only will they not have any of the rare ones, which I expect at this point, but like even though the well-stocked ones won't all be there, you know, like there's only a few left on the shelves. I think it is doing very well for them.
Yeah, I hope Amiibo finds its footing eventually. Like, I hope Nintendo finds a better way to supply the people with what they want. Because even though they're doing like a Wii thing right now, where there's this incredible demand that they didn't really anticipate, it's still kind of a bummer to the people who can't get the Amiibo they want. I really want a Villager Amiibo because I love Animal Crossing. I really want a Captain Falcon Amiibo because I love playing as Captain Falcon in Smash Bros. I can't get either right now, and I'm kind of bummed out. If I bought them, I would open it and play with it in the same way I opened and played. But at the same time, there's all these people who are just buying them and then selling them for like $100 online, and that's just not okay with me.
Yeah.
I just wish Nintendo would make more.
I think it will get better once they get past this like Smash Brothers phase where they just made the mistake of committing to releasing Amiibo for every single roster character. I think once we get past these phases of Smash Brothers characters and we get to like, oh, now we're getting just a Mario series of figures like for Mario Party, and then maybe there'll be a good amount of space before we get like the next like maybe Zelda focused series where it's all Zelda characters. I think those will be much more well stocked. But when you promise like 40 Amiibo within 6 months, it's just kind of, you know, a given that those kind of less popular characters aren't going to be as stocked as Mario, Link, and Yoshi, and so they are going to be rare. So I'm just holding out that I get this guy right here, this Amiibo. Little mess right here.
Do you think it'll come out? Do you think there will be a GameStop that stores a NES Amiibo on its shelves? Do you think every single Smash character will get its own Amiibo?
Well, yeah, I think every Smash character will. Well, yeah, I think so. I think every Smash character will get its own Amiibo, but I feel like like half of them won't see store shelves because they are all pre-ordered and never actually land on a shelf. Like they're all gone. My understanding is that the Shulk Amiibo like was never actually put up. It was only available to people who pre-ordered it at GameStop. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's so 63% were in the United States, which speaks not only to the U.S.'s size, but also the crazy collector market. And then they
Not
are
just its
considering.
size, but its appetite.
That's pretty good, Mike. They're considering they're considering amiibo figure replenishment in situations where there's a high demand for it. Card amiibos coming this card amiibos coming this year, and I really hope we don't get in a situation where my villager amiibo is on a card because Nintendo won't make it any other way. That would be kind of a bummer. But it's,
yeah, I like it's a decent workaround, but I kind of hate the idea of card amiibo because to me half the fun is having the figures and collecting them, and it's not going to be the same with cards. I can tell you I will never buy a card amiibo.
yeah, there's a reason why it's called the toys to life genre.
Right. Yeah, I don't own a card.
But the piece of news that they did actually reveal that is really new news is that they are planning a free download app for the Wii U, and you can enjoy NES and SNES. Wii U. And the way it seems to work is you put a stand and then you can play. But apparently they take it off and put it on again. You can play, be able to play Super Mario Kart with the Super NES. It's like this is just like a weird demo program when Nintendo already should have way more demos than they do now. It's like it's this would excite their investors.
I mean, it can be a fun little diversion.
And if they consider this, Mike,
you guys there?
So,
yeah, you're Alex. You were cutting out kind of bad.
Yeah, it's I was.
Yeah, you were cutting out there.
Okay, am I cutting out now?
No.
Okay, Mike, what were you saying? Sorry.
No, I'm just saying that I agree with you that it's sort of a glorified demo service, and that's kind of a problem. But at the same time, if they really are selecting scenes that are memorable and the like, it could be a really fun little NES remix style, just sort of what's going to happen next, and it can be kind of cool little diversion, even if you already own the games.
Yeah, listen.
It depends on how it comes down to execution.
At this point, I'm never going to shun more use for the Amiibo because right now I have 4, I think, and outside of a half hour with Smash Brothers, I haven't really used them for anything. I locked costumes in Mario Kart, I guess. But yeah, no, I'm all for more implementations and uses, and if people are really buying these at a rapid rate. Yeah, maybe it'll turn them on to some virtual console games and get them to buy some games, or if nothing else, it's just kind of something neat that you can do with them. So, yeah, no, I'm all for it.
Actually, wait, and then also a correction is apparently it's not different games every time you put on an Amiibo, it's different scenes in a game. So it would be like 1-1 of Mario one time, and then 5-2 of Mario a second time, it seems like. Which makes sense. And then lastly, digital product purchases have been widely accepted by consumers in the U.S. compared to other territories, which makes sense. Now, if you guys don't have the chart pulled up, do you guys want to guess? Okay, never mind.
Sorry,
I was gonna have you guys guess the order of which Amiibos are the most popular, but I guess I'll just read them down.
Wait, Mike, have you seen the list?
I have, yeah.
Okay, yeah. In fact, when the news story came out, I knew number 1 in all the territories. So.
Yeah, I remember that Link was the most popular because that's weird and surprising to me, just compared to Mario and Pikachu. But I guess that makes sense because even though Mario as a franchise is bigger than Zelda, I think Link as a character is more not popular, but more appealing and cooler to a wider Nintendo audience. But Link, Mario, Pikachu for US and Europe, that's fine. Kirby, and number 4 onward in US is Kirby, Samus, Yoshi, Zelda. Donkey Kong, Peach, Luigi. Europe, it's Yoshi, Samus, Fox, Donkey Kong, Marth. Kirby, Luigi. I'm surprised they made enough Marths for Europe to actually get that spot.
That's
Japan is
yeah.
where it gets. Japan is where it gets a little weird because behind Link, Kirby is the second most popular amiibo in Japan, which is really interesting. And as you go down the list, it gets even weirder. Mario is third place, as expected. Marth is fourth place in Japan. So it seems like they made enough Marths over there, and that apparently it's big enough in Japan to make a Fire Emblem character bigger than Pikachu, who took the fifth place spot.
You don't think these are importers buying a lot of those?
That makes sense.
That could skew the data. Yeah, that's a good point. Because actually, I wanted to point out Australia. They're like, what is this? Just the top 10? Yeah. Their 10th most popular is Rosalina, which Rosalina could never be on this list here because approximately like 8 were released in the United States. So that's pretty surprising. But you're right. I wonder how many people are actually just importing that to the States. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I need someone to study that. Alex, I'm putting you on the case. I'm commissioning you to get to the bottom of this. We will talk about your findings next week.
Okay, I'll report back,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Thompson.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to new releases. Kirby and the Rainbow Curse is the big release this week. It's the new Kirby game, sequel to Canvas Curse. Reviews came out today, and like the Order 1886, it was heavily criticized, or at least partially criticized, not as heavily as the Order 1886, for being real easy and real short, which makes sense because it's coming out as a $40 game. For some people, that sounds good. More power to you. I kind of want the game a little less when I found out how short it was, like 4 or 5 hours, and Kirby games are traditionally a little too easy, with the exception of Return to Dreamland, which is a little bit harder. Scott, are you real excited for Kirby and Rainbow Curse?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll pick it up. I mean, for me, the rule generally is just like any game that has co-op play is already like going to be on my radar because then my wife and I can play, and it just looks super adorable. I love the art style. And the length doesn't really bother me because I'm sure if I went through and collected like everything that was hidden in the levels, all the items and collectibles and unlockables, that it will take me much longer to do, which is generally what we do when we play these types of games. You know, I'll go through like Mario 3D World. We got everything, unlocked every world, and all that good stuff. Found all the stamps, save for the ones that you have to get from like beating every level with every character. We weren't that crazy about collecting everything, but we got most everything. So yeah, I'm excited. And speaking of, if I should be getting it tomorrow, might be doing some streaming tomorrow. I've got all my capture stuff, so it could be my first live stream. So,
are you doing that on a personal channel or on Nintendo World Report?
You know, that's a good question. I'll have to see.
I mean, that's not to bully you into doing it on the official channel. I mean, if you're doing it on your own channel, be sure to mention it tonight. Or you can do it at the end when we plug everything. You'll get a chance. You'll get a chance.
Okay. So I like to
Mike,
you said there.
Talk about Kirby.
Yeah. I don't think this game's going to be too easy. Quite frankly, I think Canvas Curse is one of the harder Kirby games out there. And like Mass Attack was also kind of difficult too, in my opinion. So I think some of these spin-offs tend to be a little harder than expected. I mean, even the 3DS game that came out recently, I'm blanking on the name right now, but that one got a little hard near the end too. So
Triple Deluxe.
Yeah. So I wouldn't poo-poo the difficulty of this. I based on the E3 demo, certainly they chose some difficult levels in my opinion. So,
so you're getting it?
It's going to be an easy game.
Okay. It's Mike. Are you getting the video game Kirby and the Rainbow Curse?
Yes, I don't know if I'll get it right away because I got some other games to get through, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm a big fan of the DS game.
Okay, excellent. Pokemon Shuffle also came out this week, free-to-play Pokemon game. A lot like Trozei, supposedly.
Next.
Neil did a hands-on thing of it. You can read that. It's a good article, and you should check it out. It seems kind of good. I don't care about the Pokemon puzzle games, especially not Match 3 Pokemon puzzle games. So this doesn't do anything for me. But something that might be more interesting to you, Scott, because I think I remember you really liking this. Theater Rhythm new DLC came out. Chrono Trigger. Is that you?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, 100%. In fact, I think I got everything mixed up between the live show and the podcast at this point, but I specifically haven't downloaded any of the Theater Rhythm DLC yet because I've been wanting to wait just to enjoy it on my new 3DS. Because like I said last week, like I for the last like 2 months I've just hated my current 3DS because I knew I was going to get a new 3DS, so I haven't wanted to play it at all. Plus I didn't want to like have to transfer even more stuff, so I downloaded Theater Rhythm back on my new 3DS last night, and I will be digging into the DLC shortly. So I am very excited. Chrono Trigger's music is so good, and I love what they're doing. I love that it's basically become like Theater Rhythm Rock Band. Like they're just pulling music from all kinds of different games and series in the Square Enix library, and I love that.
Yeah, it's. I think Nintendo really needs to take advantage of this formula and put out their own Nintendo Theater Rhythm.
Yep.
I've mentioned Pokemon Theater Rhythm before, but this seems ripe for a Nintendo game to actually come out based on it. Also, if you really love the game Nier, I know a lot of people do. There's also DLC music based on that out this week.
Yeah, and I know they put. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was gonna move on.
I was just saying, I know they like a couple weeks ago in January they did DLC for with tracks from like The World Ends With You and other series like that. So yeah, there's been a lot of series that have been plucked for Theater Rhythm. So it's exciting.
They should just make a new jam
it's a good thing. Oh, someone has to. It's because there's a 3DS one that's either came out or is gonna come out, and we're not getting that game. That's kind of a bummer. I actually played the European import of the DS game. That game was super fun because it was all these MIDI tracks of all these popular songs, and it's I mean obvious reasons why it couldn't come to America. It's probably a licensing nightmare in ways that it wouldn't be in Europe and Japan, but so it's kind of a bummer. Regardless, and at least Theater Rhythm is picking up some of that slack gameplay wise. Anyways, moving on to news. Talking about Amiibo again. Gold Mario Amiibo. That rumor turns out it's pretty much true. It's unless someone made up the ad for that, but I doubt it. Gold Mario Amiibo is likely coming exclusive to Walmart with Mario Party 10. It was part of this Walmart ad that said "Make this Easter golden," and it was alongside Mario Party 10. And Mario Party 10 comes out March 20th, so it wouldn't be that crazy if Walmart had the exclusive on this Mario Gold Amiibo, because it is not uncommon for Walmart to get the exclusive on a lot of video game things. Like I think I remember there are all these like double and triple packs of video games you'll see in the Walmart video game section sometimes. And then I think Dead Island, when that new Dead Island game, like the weird one that's not Dead Island or Dead Island Riptide, but like that, you know the one I'm talking about that came out a couple months ago.
Yeah.
I think the original Dead Island came in as a pack-in with that game. And I think with Assassin's Creed Rogue, that Assassin's Creed 4 came in as an automatic pack-in on that. Or it was Unity to 4. But either way, Walmart does that stuff all the time. It's not that unusual.
The first Robo.
You were just talking about that this is a big deal to a lot of Amiibo owners, that it would force them to start to draw a line in the sand about what Amiibos they're actually going to collect and which ones they're going to pass on.
Yeah, I would think so. First of all, I want to say that the gold Amiibo is perfect for Walmart. Like it's just gaudy and tacky enough that it makes sense to be a Walmart exclusive. So I really appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I worry about this kind of stuff, especially in terms of availability. Like it really, at some point, you're going to turn off collectors and people who are really excited to try to get as many of these as they can. So I'm not a huge fan of this, but well, we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll be super popular and they'll sell on eBay for hundreds of dollars. I don't doubt it, but
now this wouldn't be the first collectible that's limited release.
I wonder how limited it's going to be, because Mario Party 10 is a relatively popular series, I think. I mean, there has been 10 of them that come out like once every year or two, so it's got to at least do pretty well.
More than 10, because I don't think the DS game was numbered, or the GBA game.
Yeah, or the 3DS
game.
Nor
the 3DS game. So that could be 13 Mario Party games in since 1997 or 1998. So that must make it a pretty popular series. Now, saying that it's Walmart, a major chain, not just GameStop, which is huge, but is known for making a lot of limited stuff. maybe there will be plenty of gold Mario amiibos. Like the fact that it's gold and the fact that it's a limited variant, and we've seen how limited variant Skylanders have gone in the past, makes us think it'll be super rare. But maybe this is a different situation. Maybe a lot of people will stock up on dozens of them and think they're super rare, but then they end up being extremely common. And that would be pretty good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
think so. Judging by
Am I getting too hopeful?
Judging by the recent Amiibo history, I would say evidence suggests that is unlikely.
Okay. It's Mario though. If anyone's gonna have a gold Amiibo you can buy successfully, it's gonna be the Mario one.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We will see.
Yeah.
Just wait till Metal Mario
and
comes out,
then
which is different from Gold Mario.
Yeah, that
It's
one that one looks sweet. At least that one's like canonical.
Yeah.
Actually, but Gold Mario, New Super Mario Bros. 2.
Yeah, you're actually right.
Counts too.
Yeah, damn it. Yeah, good point. Well, now I got to get
There
it.
you go.
No,
And
you don't
then
need to
the
play
other
Mario.
Amiibo story, I guess so. And then Rosalina, Wario, Donkey Kong, Mario Party Amiibos leaked, aka not really leaked because it was on the official Japanese website that this came out. But it didn't say whether this would be part of the official Super Mario series Amiibo, but it's obviously going to be. It's Rosalina. I wonder if they'll change the stock on this. I think the reason why she was limited to begin with is I don't think Nintendo understands whether she's incredibly popular right now or not. But she's kind of taken on this role as like the new official Nintendo waifu of a lot of people. Like she's kind of usurped Samus because there hasn't been a Metroid game in so many years.
Or at least
So
a good
it's,
Metroid game.
I think in the otaku, if that's because that's what they call themselves, community, there's gonna be I think if they put out more Rosalina amiibos, they would actually be relatively popular.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
You're right. She's easily the most popular, like, quote unquote Mario princess right now. I mean, A, she has like a backstory, which is nice, and B, I mean, she's just kind of hot. I mean, let's get real with it. The hair in front of the one eye. I mean, she's got something going on. So.
It is true, and then yeah, Peach is so tired by this point. It's just as a concept. I don't know. And then is Daisy even in this game? Is she gonna get an amiibo? Probably not. She doesn't
I don't
deserve
think
one.
so.
But that, to be fair, there is a large like Daisy community who would very much want a Daisy amiibo, so we can't discount that. I think Peach is like the third most popular princess, and I think there will be a war between the Rosalina fans and the Daisy fans. It's gonna happen.
That's kind of fucked
Waluigi's
up.
got to come out first.
It's Waluigi. And Waluigi, I bet Nintendo's even less sure of how much of a following Waluigi has.
That's
Because
true.
it seems like in the last 2 or 3 years, there's been this uproar of Waluigi fans. Not because they haven't existed in the past, but that because of Smash now there's a reason for them to speak out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm super surprised he wasn't even in Smash Bros. But
He's
moving
in this
on.
trophy.
He is. Yeah, that counts a little, I guess. It doesn't count as much as Sakurai thinks it counts.
No.
Nothing ever does.
And then just quickly, just because this is a hot breaking news story that neither of my other co-hosts knew before going in what this game was, but Rodea the Sky Soldier, a game that was originally made for Wii and then was eventually moved to Wii U and 3DS. It was this Yuji Naka game. Head programmer of Sonic the Hedgehog. This was his new game that's been talked about for years and years, 5 years, in fact. In some NIS America press event tonight, it seems like they announced that this is finally coming out in North America this fall. And, like, I don't even remember what the game is about anymore. Like, I was excited about it back in 2012, I think. But there's just something exciting about these games that, like, you assume they're never going to come out, and then they just get announced for localization out of nowhere. No less by NIS America, and I don't think they were the ones who originally put this game out in the first place. I assume it's pointless to ask you guys what you guys think about this, because you just found out the game existed 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I don't know anything about this.
I have zero thoughts. The first thing I thought was, didn't he also work on that Tap 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 game for Wii? Like, wasn't that like a project he was a part of? You guys remember
Yes,
that?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never played that.
He worked on other stuff. Okay, he was also the lead programmer of Nights into Dreams. He was on a lot of Sega games. Looking at his stuff now, yeah,
Well, yeah,
Let's Tap.
yeah.
So,
Oh, Let's
dude's
Tap.
been
That's what it was. Yeah.
dude's been around. So that just came out. Hopefully you're excited about that. Hopefully I broke that news for you. If you're one of the people watching now, that would make me feel real happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that would mean this show actually has real purpose as a news show.
That would be our first breaking news story on this new show, yeah.
And it would be one that the other two hosts couldn't care less about.
No.
Okay, well, moving on to the next story. Nintendo TV was canceled for Europe and that it never came out. A statement which found on various versions of their website reads, "At Nintendo Europe, we continue to challenge ourselves to develop a range of entertaining experiences for all to enjoy. Due to the extremely complex nature of localizing multiple television services across a diverse range of countries with varied licensing systems, regrettably we have taken the decision not to launch the Nintendo TV service within the European region. Although on this occasion we would not anticipate such a challenge, we'll always strive to develop entertaining experiences for all our users to enjoy, but the TV icon on the Wii U is still there on the gamepad. So you can still click a TV and it'll say coming soon or not available right now or error." And sorry, but they probably made the right decision not to release it. It's the thing is, like, there's probably a way they could have made this work if they really, really wanted to, but it already failed in every other territory it came out in.
Mm-hmm.
So what's really the point? Like, didn't it actually come out late in some other territory, either Japan or Australia or South America? Like, I think it did have some, like, late coming out. Though it actually had that in North America, too. I think it took that a couple months. I don't know. Who cares about TV, except for the fact that it's kind of funny it got canceled.
I was going to say, I'm not even positive that if I click the TV icon on my Wii U today, that it doesn't come up with an error message saying, like, coming soon or not available or error. Because I have not touched that shit past, like, the first day it became available. Because, I mean, do you guys remember, like, that? It wasn't really a Nintendo Direct yet, but it was basically a Nintendo Direct where they really showed off TV, and it was supposed to be this great way to, like, instantly search Amazon and Hulu and Netflix and, like, your local, like, your DVR and your local cable station and, like, find the shows that you're looking for, and that just did not pan out. Yeah, it was bad.
Right, and it wasn't even a bad idea at the time, because what it wanted to do was combine your Netflix and your Amazon and your HBO, if that was included at the time, and your cable. And then it promised the search engine where, like, you could watch, you could look things up, and then you could also contribute to these, like, live tweets of, like, television programs. Like, it was showing off Modern Family, like they had, like, a shot-by-shot of what was going on. And then because the Wii U ran so slow and none of it really worked, it just didn't pan out. Like, if it worked perfectly, TV probably would have been pretty cool, and, like, if the Wii U ran fast enough to sustain TV. But Nintendo missed its chance. It squandered whatever potential this had immediately, and it's kind of amazing that it took Europe this long to cancel it. Because once it failed, there was no way this was ever going to come out. Because what does Nintendo gain from it, really?
Yeah, right. At first, it seemed like an interesting feature. You know, a bullet point you could put on the box, and you know, Xbox One does similar type of stuff. You know, like kind of incorporating your cable service into the system. But yeah, it didn't work, and once it didn't work, it was like, well, there's no point in showing this feature off because it's useless now.
Sure.
Just ignore it.
Sorry, guys, I had to make a statement about you know, that TV service getting canceled. I'm so angry about it.
Go for it. Go ahead.
So you signed off? Was that your protest?
Oh, man.
Well, my computer decided to restart itself.
Nice.
So, yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
No problem.
No problem. It's cool. It's speaking of territories not getting stuff, Nintendo explains why the smaller new 3DS isn't coming to North America, and this was explained by Damon Barker, who is the senior manager in marketing and licensing at NOA. He said that it came down to a lot of the stuff that a lot of us have speculated about, which is specifically messaging the product to consumers and considering the way the North American market is compared to other territories. And then he has this quote where he says, "Look, the faceplates are super cool. We're a different market, and now we have a clear differentiation between those three systems: the 3DS, 2DS, and now new 3DS XL. Before it was the same resolution, same functionality. Now there's a 2DS, 3DS, and new 3DS XL, all of which have their own functionality and features. The different price points give it a clear message for consumers." So it seems like they didn't think the consumers would understand what the new 3DS was, and that would make its sales suffer as a result. And then they were also saying they knew that the core audience was going to be pissed by it, but they just decided it was worth taking that hit. And I don't know if they're right, because I think
it's spinning so fast I think it's going to fall off. There's so much spin. It's obvious what happened. They've confused their own marketplace. And maybe Illinois doesn't like it, and they were kind of forced to confuse the market because of what NCL wanted them to do. But fact of the matter is, they're saying, "Hey guys, we've confused the market because there's so many different versions of this thing out there that we can't release all of them." And either that's a bald-faced lie, and they don't want to admit that they don't want to release it because it'll be too small quantities to sell, or they're just saying, "Yeah, screw you guys. We can't do it all." Seriously, I think that they kicked and screamed when they were told this thing's called New Nintendo 3DS, and the marketers are forced to make these decisions because NCL just wasn't listening to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I do like the point about, like, the core audience wouldn't be happy, but they don't care about that because the core audience is just going to suck it up and buy the XL either now or eventually. I mean, let's be honest. No, like, hardcore Nintendo fan at this point is going, you know what? I've reached my limit. I'm buying a PlayStation now. Like, that doesn't happen. Like, if you look at, like, what Amiibo is doing right now, that obviously doesn't happen. Amiibo's been, like, a complete fuck up from the start, and still, everyone is still pre-ordering them, trying to find them the day they're supposed to launch, everything. Like, it's not going to hurt the Nintendo fan base whatsoever. They know you'll buy one. I bought one.
Right, but my the reservation I have about this, and you're right, you're totally 100% right. People like me will suck up any hatred I have towards the situation, and I'll end up buying the XL anyways.
Right.
But you gotta wonder, why didn't they just replace the regular 3DS with the new 3DS, and then that would kind of solve the confusion? Because that must have been what happened in Japan. I'm pretty sure that's what happened for a fact, is that the new 3DS just replaced the original 3DS. So this guy is making it sound like it would have been 2DS, 3DS, new 3DS, and new 3DS XL, when that doesn't really make sense that Nintendo would ever do that.
But that's how it always happens. I mean, how long did the DS sit on store shelves right alongside the 3DS? Like, same exact size and form factor and everything, just with the 3DS obviously being more powerful. So I absolutely believe they would have kept pumping out regular 3DSs and 2DSs, even with both new 3DSs here. So, yeah, no, I think it's a fine move. I think it is good to have that differentiation, and honestly, if I had to choose between the XL and the regular size one, I'd probably end up with the XL anyway. So I know not everyone agrees with me, and they wanted those those faceplates, but
yeah, I just wanted sharper looking Nintendo games. It's because obviously,
people talk about those faceplates, but as we found out, I mean, you basically have to take this thing apart to put in a memory card anyway. So you could just buy in a whole other new 3DS, like a red one, and put a red backplate on your gold new 3DS. It wouldn't even be a big deal. That's more than $200.
Well, the new 3DS, that thing's something else. All right, that sounds like a show. It's been about 40 minutes. That's how long these shows usually are. Thank you to everyone who's watched the show this week and will watch it in the future. Thank you to Scott and Mike for joining me. Scott can be found at OKSoda, OK the word soda. And what is your streaming thing?
Oh, good question. I haven't used Twitch in forever. I'm pretty sure it's the same, just OKSoda. If you do want to watch some Kirby tomorrow, just follow me on Twitter, and I'll shoot out the link when I'm ready to start. It'll be tomorrow night sometime. My wife and I will play. But it should be OKSoda on Twitch as well. I'm almost positive.
Okay, and then Mike, TYP Cole, you can see him on Twitter at his... did you recently come back to Twitter, or is this your first Twitter?
This is my first time on Twitter, believe it or not. So
be gentle.
At Younger Plumber. At Younger Plumber,
yes.
One word.
Yeah, it's YOUNGR. The word plumber. It's exactly as he described the word younger and the word plumber, but instead it's one word instead of two. I shouldn't have corrected you there. And it's you can also hear Mike on Radio Trivia. You do monthly episodes for that, and since your last one was in mid-January, the next one should be coming out relatively soon, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been busy and going out of the country for 2 weeks kind of messed that up a little bit too. So, but hopefully we'll have one soon. I know I'm starting to plan something with Johnny Metz, but I don't know when he'll be available to do that. So maybe someone else will be on first. I don't know, but we've got a bunch of shows. If you've never watched it before, or watched it before, God, I'm already getting used to this. You can listen to my podcast. We got a bunch of episodes, in the archive, and they're always fun to listen to, even if it's from 3 years ago. It's still fun music and fun games. And when I chose that game, it was probably already 5 years old anyway. So, so check that out. You can find that on iTunes, or you can go to our website and look under the podcast section, and you can find Radio Trivia there.
Excellent, and if there are any RFN fans, any classic RFN fans, the last episode was with fan favorite Greg Leahy.
That's right.
So that would probably be a really good one to start with while you are waiting for the next excellent episode. That's our show for this week. If you have anything nice to say, anything mean to say, put it in the comments. I'll read it all. I might respond. Either way, we care about your feedback. We care about your feedback. We want to make the best show possible. So I will see whatever you write, no matter how nice or mean. Just please tell us what you think. We care a lot. All right, that's a show. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.